Welcome to the Impactful Engineer Project. I'm Steve Maxey, and with my co-host and brother Jake, we are here to bring you guidance, fresh ideas, and the tools to help you become an impactful engineer. Welcome to the Impactful Engineer. Our mission is to help you grow your engineering career and inspire you to pursue your full potential as not only an engineering professional, but as a member of your greater community. I'm Steve Maxey, and I'm a mechanical engineering manager in new product development, and I'm here with my brother Jake, who owns and operates NLS Engineering, an electrical engineering partner in the AEC industry.
Yes.
Hello, Jacob.
What's going on, man?
Nothing much,
it's a
man.
Good day, dude.
It is a fantastic day. Nice, crisp weather we're having now.
It's finally getting a little cold.
Yeah.
Yep. Hit the 20s today.
I know.
You can
Yeah,
feel
it's in the 30s here, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can always tell,
but, yeah.
like, when I walk from the garbage cans to the end of my drive, and I go back inside and they're pretty much numb.
Yep.
That's when I know the cold has arrived.
Yeah. Yeah, when your breath crystallizes in front of your face.
Yes. It's getting cold.
Yeah. All right. So just a little housekeeping real quick. Within this podcast, we do have a few episode formats. Our most common type is Jake and I will present a topic where we introduce the why and the how around a concept and give some tips to inspire some action. That's what today is all about. Occasionally, we also will have a quick solo episode. I believe 2 episodes ago from the release of this one, maybe it was 3, was one of these. And that's where we immediately get down to a singular point and share an idea with you that is critical to growing your career. These can be high-level concepts as well as just more granular thinking and actionable tips to inspire some action, specific actions. Yeah. Something like that.
Sometimes I go a little overboard with it, but that's all right.
Yeah, it's all good. And finally, about once a month, we do have a long format guest episode. It's been a little bit since we've done one of these.
Yep.
But we do have one coming up soon. So look out for that one. Those are my favorite because we're listening to other people, not just ourselves.
Yes.
But we bring on guests in a particular field to share their perspective, mindset, and actionable tips around their area of genius. And we always benefit ourselves from these episodes. Yeah. I love them. So.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Get you thinking on a new path. Something
That's
else
right.
to consider. And that's exactly what we're trying to do with this. So.
Yeah. Exactly.
That's the key to learning.
I know. Continuous learning.
Always.
Yeah. If you're not learning, you're dying, right?
Yeah.
Is that the saying?
That's right. Well, we're all heading towards equilibrium. We're all going back to we have to continuously fight to be in the state that we're in. And as soon as we stop, you're going to go back to what your environment around you wants you to be at. Yeah. Right. So we all walk around at, 98.6 and the environment wants you to be a cold, dead fish. So we're always fighting to stay alive and learn more. Right?
Yeah. So. Set your thermostat to 200. Let's go.
Go. Yeah. Go, move, make.
Yep.
Yes. My favorite conversations with my previous employees, make. It's a funny thing that we said around this term, but that's it, man. We show up and it's like make. And that's when it's like, okay, go mode. Let's do it. That's all that needs to be said.
Yeah. And you just feel energized. Yeah, you feel energized doing it too. Yeah. Yeah. You're just like pumped. You're just moving, executing. Things are happening.
Working with the right people too. Isn't it just so much fun?
Oh, yeah. Man. Yeah. That's why you always want to surround yourself with people who are more driven, better, smarter, everything than you are. You want to be like the worst individual possible in a room. Yeah. Because that means you're just going to be pushed.
Absolutely. So, hey, if you got a pulse, walk to the door. You'll be better than me. Just kidding. I'm not that bad. Chances are we'll work well together.
Yeah. All right, man. So you have a topic that you wanted to bring up today.
Well, yeah, like I was on the Enhance AEC podcast with Andy Richardson, and we touched a little bit about like being useful. I wanted to get that message across, but I have so much more to say about it. So I want to talk about that today.
Okay, let's go then.
Be the idea of just being useful. Yeah. Yeah. What do you think? What do you think it means, Steve? Tell me what you think being useful means.
Being useful, being someone who's counted on. Like, if you're not counted on, you're not useful at all, in my opinion. It's if you're not useful, people aren't going to want to give you work, and then you're just going to be in this circle of just monotonous work. Like you're going to get the least important projects. People are reluctantly going to work with you, and you're going to be completely stagnant in your career. So being overly useful, or just incredibly useful, I should say. People are going to want to give you the cool projects, the hard projects, the projects that get the visibility from leadership that will drive your career upward, right? So that's how I view it.
Yeah. And what I use it for, and what I like to tell people is, it's the multiplying factor that will get you whatever you're doing. It'll get you to the next step quicker, and it'll have more of an impact. It's a force multiplier in terms of your career. And so let's define it. So if I was to say, be more useful to somebody, what does it actually mean?
Yeah.
To me, you can operationalize. Is that the right word? You can make
Sure.
this something that you take steps to do that are very concrete and easy to understand. How about that? So being useful, take all the stuff that would, like, if you're going to take an assignment from somebody, how would you mess this up completely for them? And then just do all the opposite things. So that's something easy to do, right?
I love that negative thinking.
I know,
like that,
the inversion.
Inversion.
Yeah. So take all the things. What would you do to totally and royally fuck this up, and then just do all the opposite things?
Yeah.
So that's one. Being useful. What I really like to drill into is sometimes people will be very narrow in what they see as an opportunity to help somebody else or be useful in a situation. And right now, how I'm using useful in my business is doing the things that relieve the pain that is being felt or experienced by potential clients. That is, for me right now, being useful. So I guess really define what it means to you in the situation you're in. For me right now, it's solving the pain points of potential clients. And the word potential is on purpose, because I'm in find people, tell them about my stuff mode, do great things for them. How do I do that? I reach out to them and be useful. Being useful is taking away their pain.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I don't know. I'm not going to bring that up. I was going to say something. I'm not going to do it. Bad analogy. So be useful. Okay, great. I think that sometimes people stop themselves or block themselves from being useful because they think it's like this is not my job.
Yeah, that's about
this is not what I do. How does this lead to work?
It's out of my scope.
It's out of my scope. Why would I spend any time on doing this without being paid? There's paid work floating around out there that I should be going after, whatever that is, at this point, right? I should not be doing these things for these people. I should not be having conversations for no reason, stuff like that. I think that blocks people from being useful.
Yeah, it's servicing beyond expectations.
Yes, that's another very good definition. And without expectation.
Yeah.
Let's add that to it. Servicing beyond expectations and serving without expectation.
Yeah.
That's how you maximize being useful, in my opinion.
And going beyond expectations, right? So when you do start building a relationship with a customer or whichever, and expectations are laid out, then you exceed those by tenfold, right?
Absolutely.
So you're more useful.
Right. And then, so get yourself past the blockage of, like, if I'm not working in this very narrow lane or doing this thing, and then it leads to an invoice and leads to money, and then I go to the next one, and then it leads to this, and like, if you can break yourself out of that, and there's a time to do it, break out of that, then you can start learning. By being useful, you can build your own reinforcement loop of becoming even more useful. Right? So there are things that I'm getting into to provide usefulness, just moving forward, not like there's the target and then I do that and it's over. I'm just moving, being useful. What do you need? What's your pain point right now? Would it be good to have this information? Do you want a second set of eyes on this, or that? What aspect of the process that you're in the middle of could I be useful for you? And that's literally the conversation.
Yeah.
Oh man, if we had this view on and a few bullet points on this aspect of it, that would be something valuable to the team. Cool, on it. Give it to you tomorrow. And then
Yeah.
you're pinpointing how to be useful in your industry, and you're not blocking yourself from figuring all that out.
Yeah, and I know you're seeing this through or talking through a lens of engineering services to client relationship type thing right now, right?
Yes.
Like that's where you're coming from.
Yep.
But even internally, like if you're in a firm, in an organization, a new product development team, whatever, as just an employee to other employees in a company, you can talk to those around you, your peers, those above or below you, and you can they are your customers in the engineering relationships, and so you can ask them, what are you working on? What are you struggling with? Is there Are you overworked or overloaded with work right now? Can I do something to help? Can I help you with this calculation? Can I do a couple action items on this project and whatever? Like you can be useful just with those around you, and then people are going to count on you more and more, and they're going to want to engage and then leadership is going to see that kind of thing, and that's how you can grow your career easily, right? Because you're seen as a critical component to the overall team because you're overly useful. So
Yeah, I would. It's so important. I would say like it can replace a lot of things.
it could even replace just overall expertise, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
If you have someone who's a junior engineer, and this is like a great quote unquote hack. I hate that word, but just the hack for new grads is jumping in and supporting more experienced engineers on your team, because you're alleviating a lot of the tasks that would otherwise pull from the more technical work that they're doing, right? And so overall, the projects move along faster. And so you can just get in there and be like, hey, I don't know how to do this. If you just show me real quick, I can just hash it out on repeat for you and take care of this.
Hey, my fellow impactful engineers, if there's one thing that you could do to help out this community, it's to keep listening to the podcast, but also that if you found value in it, to share it with one person, give us a 5-star review, or even leave a text review. It'll only take a few seconds of your time. Find that person that you think could enjoy some of this or learn from it, and pass on the good word. Now back to the show.
Yeah, and I I want to talk about how, not like the process of developing a priority system, because we talk about that'd take a whole nother episode, like how mine number one was nobody shall be waiting for information flow for them to be able to do their work. That was the top priority. I would like stick usefulness right up there. It does this get something immediately accomplished that is on my endless to-do list? No. But is it useful? Yeah. Well, how useful is it? What is this going to do for others? What is this going to do for my skill development? And so, like, really prioritizing being useful as a way to increase your value, like, in your career, and spend the extra time. Like, I feel like, because I did this a lot, but from just observation, from leading teams and stuff, it's like people were so focused on just getting to the next thing that their usefulness wasn't increasing. It was just, I think we talked about this very recently too. I'm like stuck on this. You just do, but it's like, and that's good, but if you're cutting yourself short from fully realizing the usefulness of the task and what that does for you, then you're handicapping yourself. Like, this will take 4 hours. This may even take hours outside of work to see this through and become very useful in this thing. Prioritize that. Like, oh my gosh, that is very important. Let's do it. Right? If you can at work, shove everything else off, do that. But if it spills outside of work, like, do it. You're going to find so much untapped potential that you have by being able to realize that you can spend more time on things and increase your usefulness that is not tied directly to this task shall be completed next. You know what I'm trying to say?
I'm actually having a little bit hard
Let's
time
give
following.
you, so let's do an example.
Yeah.
All right. Someone comes to you and says, hey, I heard you've been working on, like, let's say multifamily projects. Okay. Yeah. So I heard you've been working on those and you're working on the one line diagram. Great. So you're just trying to get the rectangles into the CAD program, put some breakers in, and you're trying to put some feeders and fill out the schedule. Work that needs to be done. Correct?
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Okay. Can you do this one line diagram for us? Yeah, sure. Open up the conversation to something that is, well, what is the biggest pain point right now in this project? What have you guys been mulling over? I know this one line is a piece of it, but what have you been discussing amongst the team? What's the next really hard step that we need to take? What could be extremely useful for you to know or have a second set of eyes on, right? So you're not just completing the task.
Mm-hmm.
You're becoming inherently more useful by having discussions around the task and about the project and why are we doing this and where does this fit? Like, you know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah. And also, I think an incredibly useful trait is while you're working on a task, you audit the task or audit the overall project that the task is part of. So if you're doing this diagram and you notice something that was either calculated incorrectly or it's not allowing for future growth, right? Or expandability on I don't know your industry that well, so I'm just saying, like, if you see something that is a potential issue or an opportunity for a better executed task, you bring it up and you say, hey, have you thought about this? Or I noticed this calculation was done a little rough. I reran it through a couple equations that I use all the time, and I came out with this. What do you think? I think that's being more useful than just going, well, this is the data they gave me, and this is the task that I'm doing, so I'm just going to execute to this task. And
Exactly. You're increasing your usefulness, and this is the beyond expectations part of it that you were talking about. So, like, a great example, sticking with the one line, is we can build this thing, but what phase of the project are we in? Who and what for? Like, who's gonna use this and what for? Right? And is the project over budget right now? Have we established a budget? Because you could change just a couple of numbers in one of the ratings on this switchboard, and it changes the price by tens of thousands of dollars.
Yeah.
So I'll put this number in that you said to put in, but where does that number come from? And what would it take to change it for the better? And what are the risks associated with that? And all these things. But you're increasing your usefulness for the next step in your career, for the next promotion, for the next assignment that you get, that you can now take all those things you've learned ancillary to just putting the damn thing together and advise and become a true consultant.
Yeah.
And
Mm-hmm.
increasing your usefulness beyond the expectation. If you really want to tie it back to purely just advancing in your career and becoming valuable.
Mm-hmm.
It's a big piece.
Yeah. I mean, just like a easy example on like product development side, like if you're working on a machined aluminum component and you notice that it's, it was spec'd at 7075, you're looking at it, you're like, I wonder if it really needs to be 7075. That's pretty expensive aluminum. You do the calcs, you're like, wow, that could be 6061. It still has a factor of safety of 3 with that. So why don't we just save a bunch of money and change material spec and move on? And
very useful.
Yeah, and that could prevent the project from going over budget in the future. You can find by thinking outside of the box of the task at hand, you can find something that could potentially shorten the project timeline or improve the product or whatever, insert benefit to the overall project you're working on. And then that will be recognized by someone, but potentially important people too.
Sure, and it's just going to make you way better.
Yes, and it's just going to make you a better engineer overall.
Yeah, and tying it back to the inverted thinking, you're going to have the more and more you do that and allow yourself to go beyond the task in front of you, you're going to have this huge library of things that are going to be extremely useful to every task that you complete in your role and the next role and the next role after that.
Yeah, if you think about it, you're multiplying your experience.
That's what I'm trying to get past. That's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
It's a compounding effect.
Yes.
It's not just a straight line.
Mm-hmm.
And this is how you do it. That's really what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yep. Compound that experience by thinking outside the box and about the whys and the hows rather than just the whats.
Yeah. And just don't cut yourself short. That's the other really important thing of the message is I feel like a lot of people do that because they don't see where it's going. Just chase it down. Chase it down. And I get to do that right now because I am the only operator in my company. So I get to chase down whatever the hell I want and no one gets to say anything about it. But I've been figuring out that even the unknown things that you're going to learn, the unknown things that you're going to learn, like you think you're going to get this benefit out of doing this free code review and trying to flush out problems for this person with no expectation of return of anything. It's like, oh, I'm going to sharpen my skills, keep them up tip-top shape.
Yeah,
I'm going to
know my stuff.
They're going to know my stuff. I will have interacted with them. There's all these benefits, but then there's all these things that you had no clue, that I had no clue, that I am learning and relearning sometimes. And then an idea sparks and I go, oh my gosh, this is tied to this. And that's super useful. Oh man, then like the next time this comes around, this is something I'm going to talk about and something I'm going to look hard at. And I can build a system around this, right? So you're exponentially increasing your usefulness.
Yeah.
By allowing yourself to be useful.
Yeah. They think of it as experience points. You're leveling up.
Yeah.
Faster.
Yeah. Yep. You're out farming the material. You're collecting the coins. You're like getting the ore, man, so you can bring it back to your refinery, like you're just out there digging, just dig. But if you don't allow yourself to get out of your lane and go and spend the time and get past that mental barrier that says this is not worth it, I should be focusing on something else, go get yourself into some trouble and let some things burn and chase a usefulness rabbit hole and learn some stuff. That's where all the opportunity is. Mm-hmm. Yeah. All right.
I love it.
Vague as hell, confusing.
Yeah. Be more useful.
I will spend time on these things and become more useful in the conveying of information. I promise.
Yeah.
I hope the general gist came across.
Yeah. I actually, to our listeners, if you have more questions on the topics that we're talking about, including this one, of course, you can actually just email us directly at questions@impactfulengineer.com and we will respond. It's not like we get a boatload of emails anyways. So if you have just questions in general, like if there's a topic you want us to touch on that we haven't yet, because I'm sure there's plenty of stuff we haven't thought of about talking on here, send us an email. It'd be good to dial in our abilities to help you grow your career. So,
and you know how much crap you can get rid of in your mind's, your headspace, if you just start with being useful.
Mm-hmm.
How can I be useful in this situation or for this person? Certainly not by saying, why are they asking me to do this? They're actually wrong. There's so many things that could go wrong with this. What, they should have thought about this, and this first. Why are they even approaching me? It's their job. Someone else should do this. The company doesn't care anyway. If I do this, it's not going to go anywhere anyway. You can get rid of all that bullshit just by being like, how do I be useful?
Yeah.
Without expectation of return.
Yeah.
Do
just
it.
Put that out in the universe and it'll come back around.
Yeah.
All right. So if you learned something today or think someone else needs to hear our point of view, please share the show. You can also leave us a review. We ask you humbly to leave us a fantastic raving review. It also helps potential listeners as well understand what we're all about. So leave a 5-star, leave a worded review. That would be fantastic. It's the best way we can grow this podcast and continue to create value and impact for the engineering community.